Okay, on the podcast, what's up, Willis? Why is the Finance Minister, Nicola Willis, wanting to scrap Ruth Richardson so publicly? Why didn't she just ignore the Taxpayers Union? All she's done is make their day by making them relevant. Bad call. No. Do not engage them. And Minister Chris Bishop, how much cheaper will it be to build a new house? And just what is his message for the naysayers of his massive RMA Overhaul, the biggest reform ever seen under MMP? He is on with me on the podcast very shortly, so let's go.
Are we paying these people to front up, or are we paying them to fly to Wellington to eat their lunch? Should you really lose your career for refusing to take part in a 90-minute lesson about Māori culture? This government doesn't actually have any idea how to get economic growth. Show us what you made of, Prime Minister.
Editor-in-Chief with Duncan Garner.
Okay, g'day, good evening. Welcome to Duncan Garner, Editor-in-Chief. Nice to have your company. Thank you for joining us, and please subscribe. You can text my name, Duncan, to 3598, and I'll send you a link, and then you can sign up. Extra content, $7.99 a month. You get all the extra content for a month. We send it out on a Friday. And crucially, you join Team Duncan. So we take on the big guys. Can you trust the mainstream media? You know the answer to that, but you can trust us. So thank you for joining us. Two biggies tonight. What is Nicola Willis thinking? She has stupidly engaged the Taxpayers Union, who prodded her and wanted to get some reaction, and she gave them what they wanted, relevancy. She's the minister. She deals with chiefs, not the other guys, not some has-been from the last 30 years who was desperate to be noticed. Willis invited her for a one-on-one public debate. What are you thinking? Huge mistake. And Bish, as in Chris Bishop, when will we see these RMA changes take hold, and how much better off will we really be, and how much quicker will it be to build a house? This is huge, it's crucial. Let's go.
It's the Slam Dunk.
Oh dear. This is amateur hour on steroids. The Taxpayers Union, they laid the bait, and they laid a trap, and Nicola Willis, bless her, walked right on in like a defensive baby boomer defending their record in life and refusing to be wrong about anything. Honestly, thin skin much? Come on, Willis. This is the big dance. You don't have to jump and bite everything. And you certainly shouldn't bite so quickly a lobby group. Every time a lobby group has a go at you, you can't react. Every time they call you a plonker, you can't react. You're above that. You're over it. Water off a duck's back. Back yourself. And your plan and your answers. Your answer needed to be that you're busy running the country. You haven't had time to see what they have even said about you. Is this important? Because I have a country to run and the finances to run here. That's your answer. Or she could say, the last time Ruth Richardson was relevant, we made phone calls from red phone booths and had phones with holes in them for using our fingers, and we had to dial the numbers. That's what you needed to say. Humour her. Or last time I heard of her, we had toll booths on the harbour bridge. Or just say something. Have some fun. Come on, use humour to ridicule this lobby group, but don't elevate them to your high office. Don't elevate them alongside you. It's what you've done. It's a rookie mistake. Now, she could have said, do we want to bring back the telethon, and the 1990 Commonwealth Games as well? You could say that. Mock her if you have to, but don't get so damn defensive and combative and invite them on your stage, on your platform for a debate. Now you've stupidly elevated them and made them relevant, and you've confirmed in people's mind that this is a group to take seriously. Shit, this is amateur hour on steroids. Nicola Willis must think she's starring in some political boxing promo, because instead of calmly explaining the government's finances, the job she's paid to do, she's gone full WWE challenge mode at Ruth Richardson. And for what? A lobby-funded ad campaign from a former finance minister who hasn't held office since people were queuing up for dial-up. This is political energy poured straight down the drain and wasted. While the country grapples with rising costs and asks if this government has a steady hand on the wheel, Willis decides the real fight is Ruth Richardson. A sideshow, a relic from the 90s. A distraction that nobody in middle New Zealand is lying awake worrying about. Who's giving Ruth Richardson any thought? Only Nicola Willis. Why? They laid the bait and you went and grabbed it. Willis went there, didn't she? Loudly. She didn't just respond. She turned it into a public spectacle, telling reporters, quote, come and debate me face to face. Come out of the shadows instead of lurking in the shadows with secretly funded ads in the paper. Come and debate me right here in Parliament. I'm ready anytime, anywhere. She needs to come front up, face to face, put a face to her words. That's what she said. She even demanded this debate to test Richardson's tolerance for human misery. This isn't focus, it's fixation. Instead of acting like the Minister of Finance, she's acting like someone who's been personally offended by a full-page ad. Don't get offended. She's dragging a ghost from the 1991 era into the arena and treating her like the main opponent. Labour's you guys. Have a go at them. The people that need a lower cost of living, look after them. Labour's warming up in the corner, ready to hammer her for her fiscal credibility, and she does this. Willis should be selling her budget. She should be calmly being the face of finance for this government. She should be calming the public and say everything's okay. She should be answering economic questions. Instead, she's picking a fight she can't win, because even if she wins, she loses. Ruth Richardson isn't a threat to her job. Inflation is. Labour is. Public patience is. Confidence in numbers is. But Ruth Richardson ain't it. But here we are, a full ministerial pile-on against a lobby group with a famous name attached from 1991. And worst of all, Willis elevated Richardson. Willis gave her oxygen, turned her critique into a headline-grabbing feud. Richardson will be delighted at this. They will be high-fiving. They cannot believe that the government locked in and engaged, like a scrum. Boom, we're in. This was the one fight that Willis did not need to have. And she sprinted into it. Basically, like Roadrunner. And then got there and thought, what have I done? You've done the wrong thing. Strong ministers stay above the noise. They elevate themselves. Distracted ones chase every provocation. Like you're a street scrapper. Leave that to us. Right now, Willis looks like the latter, the street scrapper. The country needed stability. Instead, it got anytime, anywhere, cage match in Parliament. You're not Mark Hunt. Nicola Willis needs to stop shadow boxing the 90s and start fronting the problems of today and of tomorrow and of next year. Because New Zealand doesn't need a spectacle or a sideshow or any sort of public jelly wrestling. It needs a finance minister with focus and clear focus, not a fight that she just can't win.
Editor-in-Chief with Duncan Garner.
Okay, the biggest changes in 30 years. That's how it's been promoted. The Resource Management Act changes. It's held New Zealand back. It's as simple as that. It's held New Zealand back big time. Now, once we make these changes, this could turn everything over. It could mean that your house, you can build a house in half the time. And hopefully, some of these costs are stripped out as well. The RMA has been completely turned on its head. Will Labor back this? Chris Bishop wants them to. Do they have things in common? Yes, they do. I think the big test now is whether Labor supports this. I think we need them to. I think we need to get consensus on these big issues. This is one of the biggest issues. RMA infects your life everywhere. Try and build a garage without it. Try and clear a drain without it. It is everywhere. It's like a cancer. It's been invasive, and now it's changing. Huge bit of work from Chris Bishop. The Minister joins me now. Minister, g'day. Nice to see you.
G'day.
Good to be here. What sort of feedback have you had? Have you had good feedback in the last 24 hours? Big moves. Well done.
Yeah, it's been really good feedback. I mean, everyone coming in from infrastructure, property, developers, farmers, growers, renewable energy guys, even to be honest, just quietly, some of the environmental NGOs, I mean, they put out very negative press releases, but they sort of like, there's some things here we quite like and stuff like that, as you'd always sort of expect. So everyone plays their base a bit, but pretty happy with it. And look, the reality is with this sort of stuff, you can't please everyone. If you've pleased everyone, then something's not quite right in the world. So,
I'll work that one out. Yeah, I read between the lines of some of the ones that you'd expect criticism from, and the criticism was pretty selective, and you can drive a bus through it because they do support a number of things that within the legislation, right?
Well, from an environmental point of view, there's now going to be environmental limits, and the thing is, everyone sort of agrees with the idea that you should develop within limits. And the debate's over what those limits are, obviously, and we'll get into that in due course. But the idea that, you have certainty over where you can develop and where you can't, that's a good thing. And developers want that too, right? People doing wind farms and that sort of stuff, they just want to know what's off limits and why. And that's all good. And we can get some certainty and a bit of clarity on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous debating whether or not we should be there. If you can set the framework clearly for business, then you can get quicker growth, faster growth, and better growth, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that I'm slightly disappointed that hasn't kind of come out of the feedback in the last 24 hours is the growth dividend out of this is really significant. By 2050, basically 0.5% increase in GDP per year. Now that number, is it accurate? Well, it's a forecast, it's an estimate, it's an economic model. You know as well as I do, Duncan, these things it depends on the assumptions and all that sort of stuff. But it's an indicator of the size of the prize of the reduction of red tape, the burdensome, the compliance, all that stuff. So it will make a real difference. I genuinely believe that if we can get it right, and there's still a long way to go. We've got to pass the bills, we've got the implementation, there's a lot of stuff still to go, and I'm under no illusions about that. But if we can get it right, man, the 2030s could be New Zealand's decade. It really could be. Yeah,
but let's hope it's not like the Warriors. But there's capacity, right? Do we have capacity, Chris? Do we have the capacity to go this quickly and to do this stuff? Because it's all very well having the legislation, but is the back office around all the councils and everything, are they prepared for this?
That is going to be a challenge. A couple of things I'd say there. First is we're actually making life easier for them. So we are reducing their burden, their administrative compliance burden in a number of ways. So for example, right, the example I was using yesterday, the guy in the hut trying to put a new garage into his house, right, in Eastbourne, near where I live actually, as it happens. 9 months fighting with the council over the garage. Okay. Now there's some guy at the council, well, there's probably a team of people at the council arguing with him about what colour his garage is, what size it is, what it looks like, all the rest of it. Is it in the Dutch architectural style? That was literally the debate. Like that's absurd. So you don't all that sort of stuff will go from the system. So that's an enormous amount of compliance and people's time and energy, both from an applicant side, ordinary people side, and a council side. That's gone. And actually, it will mean that the council can focus on things that are like actually legitimate functions of the plan.
Yeah. And this happened in our family as well. There was a garage that was being built just north of Wellington, and it took far too long. It took a bit less than that, but still far too long. I've just bought myself 2.5 acres up north, and I'm doing some stuff on there. And I tell you what, I've run into these brick walls that they should not be there. It's just simple stuff. Even some of the weeding plan around this culvert. Yeah. I mean, really, does it take this much time, this much money to do these simple things? It's held us back.
Well, it has, and there's no doubt about it. It's at an everyday. I mean, this is the thing. It's the RMA is every aspect of the economy, right? So it's your guy trying to change his garage. It's your guy trying to subdivide the property, put another section on, put a granny flat out the back. It's building a swimming pool. It's all the way through to major housing developments like a new greenfield. It's building an apartment building. All the way through to wind farms, it's to farmers, with water rights. It's literally, there's not an aspect of New Zealand's life that the RMA doesn't touch, really. Yeah. That's what's so important.
You look at electricity prices. If people wonder why they're so high at the moment, have a look at the RMA. Have a look what's held us back. Have a look at the Environment Court. Have a look at all those processes from the last 20 years, and there's your answer, isn't it?
Well, the reality is, here's when did we build all of the stuff that our electricity system relies on?
We weren't born.
We weren't born, but it was 1950s, 1960s, and a bunch of people got worked up about them. But how many people would get rid of the Clyde Dam? How many people would get rid of the Waitaki hydro scheme? I mean, not that many New Zealanders, because it's cheap, clean, renewable electricity that is the backbone of the New Zealand economy, frankly.
Without it, we're stuffed. I mean, everyone here has got their view on think big, and think big was a term that was, you're thinking far too big, and this is going to be a white elephant. It hasn't been. The truth is, the investment has stood the test of time.
Well, many of those projects, have proven to be wise investments. Some were challenging. The Motunui gas and all that sort of stuff. Some of them, they're a bit more questionable, but the reality is it's been hard to do that sort of stuff in New Zealand in the last 30 years. Think about the Mackerel wind farm right near where I am in Wellington. Just looking out the window, you can't see it from my office, but 6-7 years for that consent for a wind farm. In the middle of nowhere. Seriously.
What about getting the water from Hamilton up to Auckland? The water consent there was 7 years. They were in a queue. Auckland was in a queue behind all these other players. This is a big city, it does.
And this is why we should have done fast track, right? Because, the Port of Tauranga, right? 60% of exports in New Zealand go out of the Port of Tauranga. It's a critical port. It's basically ports, Auckland and Tauranga are the two most important. Yep. They're all important, but those are the two biggest ones. And they just want to expand. They can't. They're still fighting the resource consent process to expand so we can get more ships in. They're literally ships queuing up. Yeah. In Tauranga Harbour, trying to get in. It's nuts.
Yeah, no, I've held some public meetings down there for the local council, and it is such tension because there's the mothers group that don't like the smell of the port. Well, you shouldn't have bought there because the port's been there for quite some time, and so
it's like these people. These people who move into town, right? Yeah. Live in apartments and then complain about the nightlife. Yeah. It's like, well, if you don't like nightclubs or bars, don't live in the middle of Auckland or Wellington CBD.
Yeah, and then you move to Kingsland and then you hate rugby and you hate concerts. So get away from there.
Oh no! It's like, I don't like Taylor Swift, or I don't like who played there the other day.
Metallica.
Metallica.
Yeah, that's a bit of you, isn't it? Metallica. Is it? Yes.
Oh, big time. But I was stuck at Parliament. I couldn't. I've been working on this RMA stuff. So I gave up Metallica.
For RMA.
I gave up rock and roll for the RMA.
I don't know about that, actually.
That's how boring my life has become.
I'm going to take your man card off you, although maybe I pinched it off you last time. I don't know, but
I had the black T-shirt all ready to go, and my Hutt Valley Bogan roots were ready to come out and play.
I bet. I have thought about you on some of those concerts. Hey, the cost of a house. The average Joe goes and buys a plot of land and is going to put a house in there. How much cheaper, once this is passed, how much cheaper on average will that house be?
I don't know. It's something we want to try and work through. These things are a bit like how long's a piece of string. The price of land will probably come down because we're going to make, particularly at the fringe of the cities, we're going to make, abundant land supply into the market. Because one of the reasons why land costs are so high is that we've got this restrictive planning system, right? Like we've just drawn a ring around Auckland and said you can build inside the circle, but you can't build outside the circle. So that just forces prices up inside the circle. So we're going to do some stuff there. It will make the cost of building cheaper, and there's any number of things from the price of land through to the resource consent cost itself, which is a burden, through to building consent stuff that Chris Pink's working on, doing a really good job. Building materials, we've got a lot of good progress being made on that, and there's some really good stuff happening there. And the biggest thing I get is just the time, right? Like, why does it take so long to get a consent? Why does it take so long to process these things? Through standardised zoning, which is what we're going to end up with. If you build a house in Lower Hutt, three bedroom, 1 bathroom house in Lower Hutt, and Upper Hutt, the rules should basically be the same. Then they're completely different at the moment, or they're not so different, but there's all these little subtle differences which people have to factor in, and it raises the cost.
Well, so you have what was it before then? 100 basic areas, right? Now what is it? 17.
So we've got 1,175 zones in New Zealand, and so by way of comparison, in New Zealand there's 1,175 bespoke zones. Christchurch has 260 zones. Japan has 13 for the entire country. Now, we're not going to end up at 13. We'll probably end up, I don't know, somewhere between 20 and 80. And there's 78 district plans or regional plans. We're going to end up with 17 plans. So it'll be a lot easier for people to see, and it will all be digital. So you'll be able to go online, look at your local council area, look at the plan. It'll be much simpler for you to understand exactly what you can and can't do. And you'll be able to look at other regions as well. So it's going to be good.
Yeah, so basically this will cut the time potentially in half, won't it? Is what you're saying?
Well, we think we can take about 46% of consents out of the system entirely. So what that means in practice for people is they won't have to go off and get permission from the council to do something. They can just go and do it. It won't be part of the planning system anymore. And that's huge, man. That is quite a culture change. It'll take time to adapt.
Does that mean we'll go down to the engineer down the road and he'll rubber stamp it for us?
It means that you will not need permission to do a variety of things, and because of the impact that you are having on somebody else is so minor as to not require their permission. And that is quite a culture change. That's
a massive economy change. So with that then, and you've got fast track as well, this should unlock New Zealand, shouldn't it? Do you expect this to unlock New Zealand to get to the 5%, 6% growth that we have always thought about but never achieved?
Well, here's the reality. Australia is about 30% wealthier than us, right? And, on average. Why are they 30% wealthier? Because for 20 to 30 years, they've grown at, on average, about 1% more than we have. So our growth rate's been about, on average, 1.5%, 2% per year. Australia's normally is about 2.5% to 3%. Doesn't sound like a lot, but as you know from your long experience, over 10 years, that is quite a big gap, right? Like it just adds up every year. That's why they're wealthier. They have better cancer drugs, they have better hospitals, they have better schools, they have a better standard of living, they have higher wages, they have more jobs than we do. That's the reason. So that's why growth matters. So if we can get the RMA done and get it into law, we can get all the other stuff we've got underway from building through education. The 2030s can be New Zealand's decade. We could grow faster than Australia. We could catch up with them. We could grow jobs and incomes. It'll be, the sky is the limit.
Yeah,
we've got so many resources here. We've got amazing people, abundant natural resources. We've got an incredible country. We've got plenty of land. We have just made our planning system so bloody hard.
Yeah, I agree. We've cut our own throat. So I was in a pub last night in Mangawhai, where I've moved to, and there were two guys in their work boots and their gear, and I went across, had a chat to them. Actually, they said, like your podcast, mate, so I went across, g'day. And they had two guys on diggers. They're on land across from where I live. It's a huge big thing called Mangawhai Hills, right? It's a big 600 housing thing. You probably know about it. They've got work for 7 years. They're a Hamilton firm.
Well, that's good.
So they come up every Monday
right.
morning, go back here Friday night. They've got work for 7 years on diggers. Get yourself a drain laying buddy business or something, But that's starting to be on every corner now. That's what you want.
Yeah, no, that's really exciting. Look, the economy's turning a bit, and this will supercharge it over time. Things are getting better. I mean, construction jobs are up for the first time in a few months.
Yeah, so that,
they're starting to see that. Resi construction, building consents are picking up. There's a lot of infrastructure projects starting. There's some really, it's, green shoots. I don't want to get too excited about it. There'll be a bunch of people out there still doing it quite hard, but there are some good stories like that coming through.
We're pouring more concrete too. I sort of go back to all those sort of, tests. Are we pouring more concrete or are we pouring less? Well, for the first time this year, we're pouring more concrete. Now that's
pouring more concrete. The ANZ's got that trachometer.
Yes.
I don't know if you follow that. It's the that measures the heavy vehicle and light vehicles. That's sort of ticking up a bit. So good things happening, but we've got a lot of work to do. No doubt.
You got your mates in Labour on side because they need to vote for this because you need to get their Parliament on board.
Oh, well, so we've had quite a lot to do with them. We've met them a number of times. They've been briefed the whole way through by officials and by me. It'll be over. I don't want to speak for them, but I think there's some stuff in here that they will like. There's some stuff they don't like. But let's wait and see. I would like to be able to try and get some bipartisan consensus on this.
And I think you're the sort of politician in your generation that you like the idea of consensus. I mean, I certainly think that on some of the core issues in New Zealand we need them. Otherwise, we just chop and change. We can't chop and change this. This has to be the one.
As well as I do, Duncan, I like a good political battle like anyone else. I give as good as I get. But also I like to think that I can kind of work across party lines a bit.
Yeah.
And on these sort of issues, there is. The honest answer is there's more where we agree with Labour on planning than we disagree.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the mainstream sensible political parties are leaving aside the Greens and Māori Party and all those guys. We got to kind of be adults in the room and get a sensible path for the country, and I think we're trying to do that.
Well, if the Greens support you, you're probably in trouble on this one.
Well, let's wait and see. We've met with them as well. I mean, there's some things in there that they like, but there's a lot they don't like. Whether or not they can get over there,
I can't imagine.
I don't know. Let's wait and see. We've met with them, but
is it important to get Labour on board?
I'd like to try and get them on board. There's a few ways to go. We've got the first reading next week, then the select committee. So there's quite a long process, and there's ability to kind of change. But we're going to end up changing the bill. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
It's first reading. So where we can make sensible compromises to get them on board, we will do that. But that's sort of for next year. Yeah.
What about just a couple of questions before we go, and I appreciate time, Chris. The Northern Motorway, the extension. Now I live up that way now.
Yes.
I've started to see some movement in this area. From what the locals say, the progress is happening quickly. Yeah.
Yes, this is the Northland Expressway further north.
Yeah.
There's a bit of stuff happening up there. We're hoping to. We're in procurement for that now. I'm just thinking about the dates. We're hoping to get that underway next year. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll start building that.
Start. Yes, it's construction. It's a long build.
Yeah.
But it's a very important project for the north, as you know.
It really is. Well, it's an economic corridor. If anything, that opens it up.
Oh, 100%.
What about the harbour crossing?
Yeah, we're hoping to make decisions on that next year as well. It's the age-old debate: is it a bridge or a tunnel? And we've had a barge in the harbour doing some geotech work earlier this year, and we're doing some market sounding around how we pay for it, because it's a bloody expensive project. It's sort of like, well, I don't want to put a number on it, but it's in the billions, in the multi-billions. But it's 200,000 vehicle movements per day. It's the heart of it's the heart of Auckland, as you know. So it's a very important project, but it will end up being tolled, and we're just sort of working our way through all that. So we're hoping to make decisions next year. That's another project where we'll be talking to Labour about it. Yeah. To try and get some consensus on that, because you don't want chopping and changing.
Well, we've had enough of that, and it costs so much money. As we've realised, 50 million here, 50 million there, consultancies. You just take. We can't afford it.
A lot of people have made a lot of money out of it. We should be spending it on building stuff.
Yeah, I think they're living it by me, but they're not working anymore. The harbour crossing, it's such a small bit of water. You can almost swim it. That's the problem. It's it's frustrating.
I know, but it's there's challenges with the geography at either end. And something has to be done because the existing bridge is coming to the end of its life, can't cope with the traffic it's got. It requires multi-million-dollar, remediation every few years anyway. So if you build new capacity, a new bridge or a new tunnel, of course that takes the pressure off the existing bridge, so you get more life out of it. Yeah. So anyway, we're working our way through all of that. It's complicated, as I think listeners will know.
Yeah, but so just final question: with fast track and with the changes you will eventually make with RMA, you expect to see New Zealand pop?
New Zealand what?
Pop, to really, really react to those two bits of legislation.
100%. The sky is the limit. And, I just think we've got to get out of this culture of complacency and mediocrity in New Zealand. We can grow faster than other countries. We can be a prosperous country. We just have to make the right decisions and start saying yes to opportunities. And part of that is changing the planning environment so we actually have permission to do that. Yeah. We've tied ourselves up in a Gordian knot of red tape for way too long, and we're taking an axe to it.
We are our own worst enemy. If you want to look at who's to blame, look in the mirror. Not you, but all of us. We've allowed this to. We've allowed 100%. We're not at war with anyone else but ourselves.
100%.
Merry Christmas, Chris.
So I look forward to
Appreciate it, mate. All the best, eh? Cheers, mate. Take care. Right, lead us to the editor. And a few have come in here. G'day, Duncan. Always appreciate your podcasts. I watch most, if not all, your episodes. Love your work proving media how to get it right. Thanks, mate. I've been doing some thinking. Spotted a commentator on one of your videos saying we don't have a cost of living crisis, we have a cost of government crisis, indicating we're over-governed. I think both are true. I saw how many ministerial portfolios there are, and bloody hell, I think we need to abolish or condense a lot of them. I lost count of however many there are, but it made me realise how much money we are spending on ministries and the uplift of salary for MPs that become ministers. Luxon commented in his interview with Heather on News Talk ZB, saying that we are chasing millions, not billions of dollars. I think he's underestimating the potential impact. Think of the staffing trim, the software licence costs gone. Don't get me started on the officers. Working in the public sector, I can safely say how horrified you'd be at the amount of empty desks because so many people are working from home. Office floors, devices and software licences aren't cheap. So as much as I appreciate Luxon saying we are chasing millions, it's got to be hundreds of millions, if not more, surely. Not tens of. Abolishing or condensing them, I think, may help Nicola find some more money too. She needs it. Her performance as a finance minister is interesting. Also, don't get me started about the local government announcement. I was yelling at my phone screen, more! Sick of us homeowners losing and being at the council's mercy with bloody rates. I want us to be winning. Regional councils being abolished and rate caps, although not until 2029, are very welcome, but I think a major shake-up is needed. They say councils are aware of their rate promises and won't do anything to jeopardise their name. Ha! Yeah, right. I think they need to discipline councils more. On the right track? Sure, albeit far too slow. That's enough from me. Again, love your work, and please don't share my name as I'm a public servant. Apparently, a very opinionated one. Cheers, Dunk. And then your name, of course. Thank you for that nice email. Hi, Duncan. First time ever emailing anyone about an issue like this. Simple question. Why do legal gun owners, hunters, shooters, such as myself, have to jump through hoops with this new online system? Don't you think it's safer to keep a paper ledger in your local gun store? I've always thought that. When I questioned them about this, they assured me the online system is as safe as a bank system due to real me. Everything can be hacked, and I believe this new system is just another data gatherer for big government to create some more jobs for nothing, just waiting to be leaked and sold to the highest bidder. Yet, all the criminals have guns. If I wanted to commit a crime with a gun, I'd just buy one from a criminal. Yet the law-abiding citizens of this country are being harassed to give the government more info. Why haven't Te Pukenga called the criminals and asked for their firearms details? I can't do anything about this, as I have no online footprint or voice. But I strongly believe what firearms I own is none of the government's business. It's no one's business. Love your podcast on Spotify. The fate of this country rests on your shoulders. Oh, shit, Tim, thank you. The fate of this country rests on my shoulders. That's huge pressure. That's not fair. Anyway, we need a gun register, a gun ledger in the shops, and then basically it goes. It's uniform around the shops. I agree. If we think we've got gun control under control in New Zealand, you're kidding me. There is a sale of dodgy guns under the radar between gangs all the time. That's how they do it. The law-abiding people with guns now are very few. It's all the gangsters. Right. That is us. Thank you so much for watching, folks. Thank you for listening. And thank you for your feedback. You can get hold of me, Duncan@rover.nz. Also, you can, if you can subscribe, please do. Keeps us in the game. Without you and your support and your financial contribution to the podcast, we're toast. So please support us. You can text my name, Duncan, to 3598, and I'll send you the link. $7.99 a month. What's the price of half a beer? What's a petrol? A month. Get you nowhere, but this will get you somewhere. So thank you for your support. 3598. Text my name, Duncan, and we'll flick it your way. Lockie, Brody, thank you guys. Always appreciate everything you do for this podcast and all the other podcasts here, because you guys work incredibly hard. Faceless, voiceless, but so damn good. Okay, so I appreciate it, guys. We'll catch you tomorrow. Take care, guys. Ta-da.
Editor-in-Chief with Duncan Garner.